The Forsaken Oracle of Valdoria. In the grim world of Valdoria, magic, though commonplace, was steeped in darkness, intertwined with the forces of malevolence and horror. Valdoria was a kingdom built on the ashes of fallen empires, its power derived from an ancient mysterious artifact known as the Abyssal Crux. The Crux, found buried in the heart of the Desolation Peaks, offered the Valdorians mastery over the arcane, spawning an era of unparalleled might and dread. Amidst this ominous setting lived Lyra, a child prodigy possessing an uncanny affinity for magic. Born into poverty, she was sold at a tender age to the ruthless nobles of Valdoria, who sought to exploit her extraordinary powers for their own sinister purposes. Valdoria operated on a chilling principle. The creation and manipulation of magic was governed by the moon's cycles. During the waxing phases, magic surged, bestowing the practitioners with untold power. However, during the waning period, magic receded, leaving the world in a state of vulnerability and decay. It was a cycle of ebb and flow, a grim dance between might and weakness. Trapped in the opulent yet foreboding Valdorian castle, Lyra was used as a living conduit for their moonlit rituals. Her prodigious magical abilities made her the perfect vessel to harness the moon's waxing energies, amplifying the nobles' powers. As the moon waned, they would siphon off the residual magic from Lyra, leaving her drained and on the brink of death, only to be rejuvenated by the moon's next waxing phase. Despite the exploitation and suffering, Lyra was a fighter. With each cycle, she grew stronger, more attuned to the moon's rhythm, her magic growing in tandem with her resolve. She began to understand the extent of her powers, and with it, a plan began to form. On one fateful night of the full moon, when her powers were at their zenith, Lyra decided to revolt. She had sensed a pattern, a fatal flaw in the kingdom's reliance on the moon's cycles. She realized that the nobles were most vulnerable during the waning period, their magic at its weakest, their defenses lowered. As the moon reached its peak, Lyra broke free from her chains, turning her captor's own magic against them. Her rebellion sent shockwaves throughout the castle, but it was short-lived. Despite her tremendous power, Lyra was outnumbered, her strength waning faster than she had anticipated. In a final desperate attempt, Lyra turned her powers inward, disrupting the cycle within her own body. It was a dangerous gambit, an act that could end her life. She hoped to outlast the nobles, her own powers retreating just as theirs were returning. Her life hung in balance as the moon started to wane. The morning found Valdoria in chaos. The castle was ablaze, nobles laid low, their powers disrupted. At the heart of it all, they found Lyra lifeless, her body cold under the waning moon. She had upset the kingdom's sinister cycle, bringing the mighty nobles to their knees, albeit at the cost of her own life. Thus was the tragic tale of Lyra, the forsaken oracle of Valdoria, a wunderkind exploited for her powers, yet brave enough to challenge her oppressors. Her story remains a grim reminder of the horrors of unchecked power, the sacrifice of one brave soul, and the transience of magical might in the ever-changing dance of the moon.